Government to forgo estimated 18.8 million in revenue this year with reintroduction of petrol tax at a lower rate. We'll have details of this story and more in the National Report.
It is here again, it is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. And I just hope the whole of Grenada ready, because I sung in a clarion call. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again. The Made in Grenada Expo is on February 7th, and the public is encouraged to come out and give full support and buy out all local products on show. Products manufactured right here in Grenada, 100% Grenadian, and it's happening right here at the National Stadium. Are taking in the Independence Parade and the Made in Grenada Expo one time. I am so excited. That's why I'm making a fireside. I bring my tent, my blanket and all kind of thing, and I'm camping right here until everything done on February 7th. The Made in Grenada Expo is here again.
Welcome back. With the details to the news for Wednesday, January 18th, 2023, I am Sherry-Ann Noel. Consistent with its commitment in the 2023 budget to mitigate the high cost of living on the population, government has reintroduced the petrol tax with effect from January 18th at a lower rate of $3.50 instead of the $5.50 rate previously charged. As a result of this policy, government will forgo an estimated 18.8 million in revenue this year. The petrol tax was temporarily removed in September of last year as an immediate cost of living relief measure. As a direct result, Grenada enjoyed the lowest retail price of fuel across the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, OECS, over the last 4 months. The reinstatement of the petrol tax at a lower rate comes at the end of this temporary measure, and prices at the pump are still expected to remain below the average for the OECS. Additionally, effective January 18th, government will harmonize the prices of gasoline, diesel and kerosene on the mainland and in Carriacou to ensure that residents on both locations pay similar prices for these products. Government continues to actively monitor fuel costs and wishes to reiterate its commitment that should the price per barrel of oil result in price per gallon of petrol exceeding $17, it will consider additional policy measures, including reinstating a cap on fuel prices, to mitigate the impact on the population. Moving along, Grenada makes progress in executing its priority areas under the United Nations Country Implementation Plan. Grenada became a signatory in January 2022 and has since completed one of its 17 Sustainable Development Goals. UN officials and local stakeholders converged at the Trade Center Annex on Wednesday to review Grenada's plan, which includes UN development systems that contribute to the acceleration of its Sustainable Development Goals efforts, COVID-19 recovery and advancement of specific national sustainable priorities. UN's Country Coordination Officer for Grenada, Fiona Sandy, highlighted progress so far and expectations moving forward to full implementation.
Only one SDG has been achieved, and this is quality education, SDG 4. And that's the one highlighted in green. Gender equality, which you know we've been doing a lot of work on, including under the Spotlight Initiative, that's SDG 5, is on track to be achieved. Information is unavailable, data is unavailable for SDGs 1, no poverty, 8, decent work and economic growth, 10, reduced inequalities, 11, sustainable cities and communities, 12, responsible consumption and production, and 17, partnerships for the goals. Achieving zero hunger, SDG 2, and climate action, SDG 13, seem to be stagnating. There have been improvements in SDG 3, good health and well-being, SDG 9, industry, innovation and infrastructure, SDG 6, clean water and sanitation, and SDG 16, peace, justice, and strong institutions.
Senior Development Coordination Officer Kenroy Roach commended Grenada on the steps taken to propel the process of implementation. He says the UN will continue to support Grenada on its journey to accelerate its implementation rate to achieve its goals before the 2030-2035 deadlines.
I think Grenada has already set a really great precedent for what hopefully we can do across the rest of the region. It will afford us a unique opportunity to gather a wide range of ideas to accelerate implementation or relook and recalibrate efforts, maybe even to make some adjustments to interventions planned. As you know, we're in the decade of action with just under 7 years to achieve the ambitious Agenda 2030, including the SDGs, which have been adopted by all 193 member states of the UN, including Grenada. And given the setbacks brought on by COVID-19, and of course the triple crisis of food, finance, and fuel, and all the shocks to SIDS, we know we must move very swiftly to achieve what we have set out to achieve.
Representative in the Ministry of Economic Development and Planning, Isaac Bagwan, is optimistic that Grenada will overcome the many obstacles and fulfill its development goals. He spoke of the challenge of inconsistent monitoring of programs and projects.
The selection of these priority areas in Grenada have been developed based on several levels of consultation, research, and analysis over the course of 2021, particularly involving engagement between ministries, the UN, regional consultations, and partnership within the OECS and CDB. The key challenge remains that of monitoring and implementation. While the resources for the individual programs may not seem to be a lot, but collectively it represents a huge amount of funds that goes towards the very set program that our ministries and agencies are mandated to implement. And may I add, all these are grant funds. I trust that our review exercise today will be candid, it will be fruitful, and there will be a renewed energy to do the programs that we have all committed to for the benefit of our people.
Among Grenada's 17 Sustainable Development Goals are gender equality, quality education, climate action, reduced inequality, zero hunger, and no poverty. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
I think I've decided. I want this one.
Excuse me, I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Can you tell me why it is you decided to purchase this fridge?
Sure, because it's a lot cheaper, looks good, and if I should say, does the same job as all the others.
I see. Can I show you something?
No problem.
See what the sign says? It said this appliance uses natural refrigerants.
So,
This refrigerator uses green cooling technology with natural refrigerant, which is environmentally friendly and does not hamper to the environment and the ozone layer. Equipments like these will greatly reduce your electricity bill, last longer, perform better, and protect the environment, and will give you the peace of mind in knowing that you are doing your part in creating a more environmentally responsible world for current and future generations.
so you're telling me that this fridge right here may cost a little more now, but I can save on my electricity bill? It will perform better and last longer than this other one and have all the things you just said?
Oh yeah.
Remember, when purchasing an AC or refrigerator for your home or business, be sure to ask for the one that uses natural refrigerants. Go green.
Let's beware, let's beware. Cooling going green, you hear? So the ozone layer won't disappear. So let's go green, using natural refrigerants, let's go green.
Welcome back. Government commits to provide more support to farmers and agro-processors as part of efforts to increase local food production, improve the agriculture sector, and lower the food import bill. The future of the agriculture sector has been placed under the microscope in recent times as government deliberates on the best way forward for the Marketing and National Importing Board. Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell told the gathering at a recent town hall meeting that millions will be invested in the sector. A US $10 million loan has been approved for emergency food production. This, according to Prime Minister Mitchell, will boost farmers' ability to produce more food for the country.
We certainly intend in this year to give as much support as we can to farmers and to agro-processors. As announced in the budget, we have an ambitious $10 million loan that we've gotten to use for the purpose of emergency food production. And so we will do everything in our power to ensure that the government can implement by providing the support, whether it's in the form of machinery, equipment, fertilizer, technical assistance, land clearing, etc., etc.
Prime Minister Mitchell said the intention is to get to the point of subsistent farming and production, which will in turn lower the country's food import bill.
If we can't feed ourselves, then those who are feeding us could hold us to ransom. And so the goal ultimately is to get us to a point where we can feed ourselves by consuming the things that we can produce. And the things that we produce doesn't have to remain static. It can change, it can improve, it can get better. So I want the food import bill to go from 400 million to 300 million so that the 100 million could stay within Grenada and could go into the pockets of the farmers, the agro-processors, and other persons involved in agriculture and food production.
Minister of State with responsibility for agriculture, lands, fisheries and cooperatives, Senator Adrian Thomas, outlined his ministry's plans to establish an organized unit for agro-processors on island.
We want to make sure that the people who have the initiative, who is making the efforts to go into agro-processing, the government, the ministry, reach out to them, hold their hands and see how we can carry them to make the next step. Because some people are in the kitchen for the past 10 years and they are not moving further than that. You go to New York and you get tamarind balls coming from Grenada. And each package you buy every time, it is different. Because we are not organized. We're not consistent. So we want to organize all the agro-processors in Grenada, and we want to expand that business. You cannot be in this business for all these years, depending on the 4 plum trees in your yard. Huh? We want you to collect some of the plums in Woburn. Yeah, and bring it up to, so that when you retire, you can establish the business and employ some more people. You alone can be doing this business.
And finally in the news, in an effort to monetize the cannabis sector and bring about other benefits using data on agriculture and other natural resources, the Ministry of Agriculture through the Cannabis Committee engaged the Laconic Infrastructure Incorporated to get a better sense of Grenada's prospects in gaining full monetary advantage. Laconic Infrastructure is an organization based in the United States which works in agriculture production, empowerment through use of modern environmental data to empower farmers to do more with less. A 2-man team of consultants met with ministers of government and members of the Cannabis Committee at the Public Workers Union building on Wednesday and engaged with participants on how they can best move forward with the industry. Chairperson of the committee, Rolanda McQueen, says the idea is to explore the benefits of the sector.
And I didn't want our island to be known as just growing marijuana. I was looking at the bigger picture of agriculture. I wanted to look big. I was thinking big, and I wanted us to do something that would sustain us, and that even the farmers and people that was well learned about the industry. I just didn't want to do guesswork. So I think the best way to do it was to bring in expertise in and let us listen to what they have to say.
Andrew Gilmore is the Chief Executive Officer at Laconic. He explains how data helps in ensuring that pharmaceutical grades of cannabis are manufactured.
With data comes the ability to grow more cannabis at a higher grade of purity for THC or cannabinoid oil than just standard plantings, and that will enable pharmaceutical grade cannabis products to be manufactured by Grenada, generating more revenue and giving more potential products out. So you have to have a very high quality data pedigree for the plants for any of those products to make their way into pharmaceutical products or medications. And so having the data and our platform will allow your cannabis initiative to service an industry beyond just the recreational cannabis industry.
Bongoron, one of the members of the Rastafarian Committee serving on the Cannabis Committee, is optimistic about Grenada's prospects of tapping into the international market for cannabis.
I do think that this presentation going forward, that there is a lot that we can learn from it, and in the sense that we are talking on more on a broader international scale, not just local Grenada or just the region all day, but on a broader scale. So I think that Grenada, in that sense, we have a great chance of taking the right step going forward?
This is the kind of partnering we need at this point in time, especially where we are once again at our infantile stage of developing the agricultural sector, even though it was at one point in time the backbone of the economy. Today it seems as though we have to start from scratch, and what a way to start. So I'm very grateful for that. Definitely what you have outlined this morning falls straight in our pot, as we say in Grenada, and it will definitely be of use to the transformational agenda that we are embarking on in Grenada as it relates to agriculture.
And with that story, come to the end of the national report for Wednesday, January 18th, 2023. Now for a recap of the top story. Government to forego estimated 18.8 million in revenue this year with reintroduction of petrol tax at a lower rate. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Sherry Ann Noel, thanking you for viewing.